Hello everybody, this is Intuitive Retta. I'm going to start doing part 2 on Trump's November, and we're going to break down a couple of topics. I know you guys in my previous video, I have previous videos, it's called talking precisely about kind of the midterms. It's called Midterms, Will Trump and the Republicans lose bigly? I love that, because wasn't bigly like a big deal like a couple of years ago? Someone said bigly and it was all over, you know, how inappropriate, it wasn't a word. So I thought it was funny to put bigly up there. So will they lose bigly? So that's primarily on the midterms. Also to keep in mind that I don't try to predict, I try to look into people's mindset. So in the mindset right now, that's where their people's energy, the American people's energy is. You know, we still have 2 weeks until these midterms, so minus anything huge happening, if something huge happens, then people's mindset can change. And if I do see anything huge, or if you guys see anything huge that comes up in the news, we will re-look at the midterms. But for right now, that's where the energy is for the midterms, is in that video. I also did Trump's November, part 1, and this is part 2. You guys remember to, if you like weekly divinations or daily divinations, go check out my Instagram at Intuitive Retta. It's one word. On Instagram, I just put up a new post today for this week's divination. Also, I am on Facebook on Intuitive Retta. You can check me out there. And I'm on Twitter. I have a Twitter account. I haven't really been too active on Twitter, but I am on there. Also, if you guys, this is so funny. I just tried to, remember I said I was making a new kind of small, simple tarot deck, and I wanted to incorporate alcohol markers. And it was the first time I used alcohol markers. And it was funny because I underestimated that medium. I thought it was going to be easy. But you're going to see, this was my first attempt. As you see, the color's all wrong. I couldn't understand how to work them. And I'm still not done with this one. And this one is kind of my second attempt where I'm kind of getting the hang of it. But I'm still working towards it. So hopefully my third attempt will be a lot better. So this was alcohol markers. If you guys like to you know, play around with different mediums and talk about art and doodle and stuff like that, find me. I have another YouTube page called Retta Hobbies Away. And I kind of go through my different hobbies. I have a lot of them. And, you know, so you can see me there. So Retta Hobbies Away. I want to thank Kim. She sent me this. I was talked about this on Retta Hobbies Away, how I had one of these pencils and how I love to draw with them, and I was looking forward to getting a couple of more, and lo and behold, come Sunday in my mailbox, she sent them to me. So I want to say thank you, Kim. Okay, so people get all in their feelings on my if you guys have noticed, I haven't really responded to a lot of people because people get so crazy when it comes to, you know, these politics, these readings, and this and that. You guys get into your feelings and you all get crazy, and it's just not that serious to me, all right? So, if you hate Trump, so be it. If you love Trump, so be it. You know, I look more at the energy. I've said it. If you want to, people kind of see my one video and think that they understand my way of thinking in my readings. No, I've done political videos. People on YouTube are now doing political videos. But when I started doing them, there were very little people they were doing the election in general, but their focus wasn't really on politics and current events, more likely. But I have over 300 videos. I think on politics alone, I have over, you know, over maybe 150, 175 on them. So it kind of tells a story. So if you just watch 1 or 2 of my videos, you don't understand the story or where I'm coming from. So go back all the way to the beginning if you want to kind of understand Trump his mindset, the people around him, what's really going on in regards to the deep state or whatever. You can go and I've done videos on weather modification, the war with weather modification. I've done readings on the Las Vegas shooting. I've done readings. I even did a reading on this Texas thing that they found the little kids and they were Muslims. I did it. YouTube wouldn't even, it's uploaded on BitChute. You can find me on BitChute on Intuitive Redder or Real.video. On Intuitive Redder, I uploaded it to YouTube and they wouldn't even let it go. So it's over on BitChute if you want to see that one. So you guys, you know, there's a lot of people in the peanut gallery that just likes to comment and this and that. And I'm tired of saying, you know, go back and look at these other videos. Go back and doing this. So I'm not going to no longer, you know, feed into your madness. If you like my videos or if you don't. If you like them, please hit the like button. If you don't, dislike them. If you don't like me, unsubscribe. It makes no difference. If you love my videos and you like a different approach that kind of thinks outside the box, then subscribe. So that's here and there. So I'm just focusing on Trump's November. So what I also thought, I want to see about this Fed. I want to see, does the Fed have anything in store for us? Because the cards are showing that we are upcoming to some financial problems coming up. And people are like, oh, you know, we're indebted to other governments. They don't realize that the Fed is who we're really indebted to. The Fed, you know, makes money for us, right? At either lower or higher rates. So they basically own, you know, and guess what? Our taxes, people always think, oh, you know, all of our taxes are going to the federal government, this and that. No, most of our taxes is going to the Federal Reserve. Most of our taxes, our federal taxes, don't go to the federal government. It goes to the Federal Reserve. Because our government borrowed lots and lots of money from the Federal Reserve to basically print. Why I say borrow is like print. But they print money. There has to be something to back it, you know? So they can't just print money whenever. So the Federal Reserve, you know, we're indebted to them. Most of our money from the IRS, you know, from the Social Security goes to the Federal Reserve. You know, the IRS is another branch of the Federal Reserve. It's not, the IRS is not a federal, you know, it's a tax, basically it's a collection agency for the Federal Reserve. That's why they have unlimited power. They can take your business, they can take your home for unpaid taxes, they can do whatever they really want to you and you have no say. You know, so people think, oh, you know, they're frauding the federal government. No, very little of our federal, you know, actually goes to the government. Most of our money goes to the, you know, the Federal Reserve. So that's neither here nor there. Is there any plans to the Feds, the Federal Reserve, for November? Is there anything going on? Ooh, they're cooking up something. So the Federal Reserve is cooking up something. So this is like real manipulation. They're taking their thoughts and they're bringing them forth with action. So there is something they're cooking up. The Feds in itself in November. Ooh, look it. And this is the kind of, you see me, these are kind of the cards that was going on with Trump. Almost the same. This same card came out and saying that Trump was going to kind of go after them very aggressively. But it also looks like they are manipulating something, the Federal Reserve, and they're also going to plan to go after, you know, with passion. So there's going to be Trump going at them and them going at Trump. So that should be interesting. Let's see, one more card for that. And, you know, this is kind of, this card just came up for my daily divination, if you see it on Intuitive Redder on Instagram. So this is kind of like, this is going to play off of the emotions of the people. So this to me is like very emotional. they are going to play something very emotional in regards to us. They're going to try to get into our emotions this month, the federal, you know, November. So this is going to cause, I think they're both going to kind of, it's going to be a very passionate attack between the Federal Reserve and Trump. And it's also going to ignite our emotions. And I do see there's going to be some manipulation going on. I want to do a couple of cards in regards to the Federal Reserve and Trump, the relationship. We'll just check that out real quick. I'm using the Infinite Visions tarot deck. I believe you can find her on Etsy. It's an independently produced deck. So let's just see. And I'm happy I show you guys different. I get lots of messages and comments. Oh, you know, I've seen you work this deck. And I bought it. And I love that. That's why I test out these different decks here on YouTube. And see how they read. And hopefully, you know, you guys like them. And you guys go purchase them. You know. So where is their relationship right now? Ooh. So they both want to keep money. So their relationship right now, the midst of it, and this showed up for Trump's reading too, the prior reading. This is showing, I want to keep money, and the Federal Reserve, they all want to keep the money. Trump is like trying to hold on to the money, you know, and the Federal Reserve wants to hold on to the money. So very interesting. Okay, I'm going to put Trump on this side because he is the emperor, and then the Federal Reserve on this side. So let's just see. I'm going to put a card for the Federal Reserve. The Seven of Cups. There's a lot of chaos going on in the Federal Reserve. There's a lot of chaos. They're living large. So they have, like, I think things for them have been good. You know, there's been a lot of chaos, and maybe that's the whole beauty of the Federal Reserve, is to have all this, you know, economic chaos for us while they live fat and lovely and comfortable. Because look at how comfortable they are. She's living in luxury. But the Seven of Cups is all about, you know, kind of confusion, disillusion, you know, stuff like that, chaos. So have they been doing chaos? Have they been doing it so they can live fat and live richly and get lots of, look at all this gold and all this stuff, why all of us are kind of, you know, paying for it. Let's see. So they want to kind of, what's him? Strength. He's kind of facing some fears. He's trying to look some things in the eye, and he's trying to hit them head on. So whether you like Trump or not, you have to realize that this Federal Reserve, this fight that he's going to do with the Federal Reserve, is very important for us American people. Because the Federal Reserve they've been running willy-nilly, living comfortably, causing as much chaos as possible so that they get fatter and richer. So this is going to, you know, he needs to gather his army. You see a lot of people around him aren't really paying attention. There's a couple of them that are too comfortable. So I kind of feel like this is some of the people that he's kind of put on his team that is kind of part of this whole thing, and they're not, you know, there's a video that I put in the Greg Hunter. If you see my previous video, part 1 on Trump, I put it in the description. It was a very good talk in regards to the Federal Reserve and stuff. But I see that he's going to have some vulnerability. He's going to have some vulnerability. They might also kind of come back at him with his taxes and his income and stuff. So that might be a little bit of vulnerable. But I don't really see it as a problem. He's going to have to kind of face and face some fears and be strengthful. What does the Federal Reserve want from Trump? Look at this. The devil. This is what they want from Trump. So they want him shackled to them. They want to continue to rule and basically do what people say and have, you know, the people and the government shackled to their whims, basically. Very interesting. What does Trump want from them? Trump is, you know, he wants them, he wants to ready to do battle with them. You know, he's standing his ground. He has his people, but he's going to be at the forefront on this whole attack with the Federal Reserve. He's on the forefront. He doesn't really feel like he has to protect himself because you see that the shield is off to the side, not in front of him. He's looking confident. He has his people behind him, but he's going to step, you know, forward in regards to the Federal Reserve. Also, he wants the Federal Reserve to kind of stand their ground and kind of defend their actions, basically. He wants the Federal Reserve to kind of stand their ground and defend their actions. Okay, let's see. King of Cups. Is there a new... I know the last Federal Reserve was a woman. Yates, I believe. Which I did a reading on her way back when. If you are interested, look at it. Is there a man now ahead of it? Is there a man now ahead of the Federal Reserve? He has the same type of... He has the same type of energy as, funny enough, as Mueller. Or this could be Mueller. This is... To me, I feel like this is more of, because he's not part of the system, he's outside of the system, and he's kind of planning. And I think he's going to try to work on the emotions. The kings are very kind of cold-hearted a little bit. Sometimes they're emotionless. So he's looking at things emotionless. But when I see all of this, there's definitely, you know, a plan for us to kind of keep us in chaos and in our emotions. And he also wants to continue, you know, having us chained to them. And he's working on a plan. So he's not thinking about this emotionally. He's not thinking about, you know, how is this going to affect the American people, about if people are going to lose money, if people are going to go hungry, you know, if there's a recession. He is not looking at this emotionally. It's all about business for him. Okay, I think it's a man that's now ahead of it. Let's see. He wants it to change. He wants the Federal Reserve to change. So Trump wants this kind of Federal Reserve to change and kind of go into to evolve from where they were. And he also wants to shed some light on what's going on in the Federal Reserve. I think he might also go where the Ron Paul deal was. Remember how Ron Paul was like, the feds need to be audited, this and that. And he was really into that. I wish Ron Paul was younger, because I don't really care for his son, but I really enjoyed Ron Paul. And I think that if he was younger, he would have a good chance, you know, to become president now. At the time when he was running, people weren't as open-minded as they are now. So Trump wants to shine some information or something in regards to the Federal Reserve, might even their practices, may even talk about auditing, but he wants them to change and transcribe. Let's see what's going to happen. This is this month. The Federal Reserve is stressing him out. It's keeping him up at night. There is some things going on financially that is stressing Trump out in regards to the Federal Reserve. There's a conflict. There's a battle of wills going on between both of them. I think there's also, you know, something going on financially with our country, and the Federal Reserve is trying to offer, oh, we'll give you this, get you guys out of it. But Trump is like, oh, no, you're just going to give us more problems. You're just going to give us more problems. So it looks like the Federal Reserve in the past has always kind of caused the situation where, you know, where we're bad financially, and then trying to offer a solution. Remember how they always say, you know, you call plan, react, solution, something like that, that there's a three-prong thing. I think the Federal Reserve does that a lot. So they're like, oh, you know, we're going to offer you this help to get you back on your feet. And this is like a big fight going on. There's a battle of wills, a battle of intellect, a battle of conflict in between them. And justice. There's, you know, the bottom line is to kind of even out the scales. I'm hoping that Trump makes them, you know, not be able to do what they're doing. So justice is like kind of like karma, or like reaction solution kind of thing. So I'm hoping that Trump wants these, kind of get these scales rebalanced, and not where they are holding it all. you know, they have everything and where we as the people have nothing, kind of balance these scales and maybe also seek justice, you know, for the wrongs that they've done or what they're doing. So I think that I think the Federal Reserve is going to come into play a lot. Also, I want to talk about Russia. So we all know that Putin and Trump, everybody, you guys who think that, you know, Trump is another extension of Putin is so funny, and how Russia, you know, won Trump the election. That's just like wishful thinking. That's just your brain trying to understand how Trump became president instead of looking at things rationally. So they're like two people playing chess. And if you look at my past readings on Trump and Putin, which I have, it's like both of them are playing chess. They're not friends, you know, in that per se. They're adversaries that like to kind of spar and play chess, you know. So we heard that Trump is trying to get out of this nuclear deal. If you understand, Putin is very stubborn. He's the chariot in the tower. He's stubborn to his own detriment or the detriment to his country. He is stubborn. It's his way or no way. He's very controlling. Whichever way he decides to go, he goes full steam ahead, whether it lands spectacularly good or whether it lands spectacularly bad. So I want to see, is Russia going to be an issue in Putin in November for Trump? The Knight of Pentacles, there's going to be some type of information coming out in regards to the Knight. He doesn't think too much. He just brings things. You know, he's just working on, you know, he just brings things. But I don't see him, I kind of see it at like kind of peace. So there's something going to come from somewhere. There's information in regards, because I know there was a treaty, but something's going on with this nuclear treaty, but I don't see it as, you know, as fighting or rushing into doing something. You know, this kind of Knight is kind of standing still. His sword is down. He has, you know, money and goods and his clothes. His you know, his shield is off to the side, and he doesn't even have protection on his head. So there's information there, but I don't see that it's really going anywhere in February, if that's true. Yeah. So, you know, I see this as standing their ground and people coming after him. So this could be either Trump or Putin. But for some reason, I feel it's Putin. You know, he's standing his ground. People are going to throw things. He's catching them. It's like he's not, even though people are throwing things and shooting things at him, he's standing his ground. And he doesn't even feel like he has to protect himself. He has some things on his head, but he's you know, even though he has some armor, he's basically vulnerable. He doesn't feel like he has to explain himself. Maybe that's what it is. He doesn't have to explain himself. And there's the tower energy to his detriment. So it might be that this whole treaty is going to go away, or something's going to happen to kind of blow up this treaty in November. Because I see the tower. That's his energy, because Putin is stubborn. So, you know, once he makes a decision, that's it. There's no talking him into it. There's no, you know, modification. There's no let's meet in the middle. Nothing like that. So I'm going to do in these last few minutes. They're both indecisive about anything. There's a lot of people talking in Putin's ears. He's not listening. A lot of people talking in Trump's ear. He's not listening. So there's a lot of indecision going on for both of them. So in regards to this treaty thing, maybe there's an indecision of whether to just, you know, both, you know, even though it's been out there, I'm not sure. So let's see where Putin is in regards to this treaty. He wants to hold on to this, like, he wants things to kind of stay the same. He hears that there might be some inklings of changing, but he's kind of set in his ways. He doesn't want to look at it. He doesn't want to kind of change things. He's not looking, you know, the Four of Cups is always like looking towards the messenger, coming in with new information, new thoughts, new feelings. But he's looking he's not looking at basically what's at hand, what's there. He's kind of looking off. So maybe he has a different motive kind of than what we have, you know, as a country. Maybe his motives are different. Maybe his plan of action is different than where we are. And is there in this treaty, I think there's a lot of people, maybe 4 different people or 4 different parts of this treaty, or even maybe 4 different countries. And maybe 3 of the countries are on the same page, and maybe, you know, Russia and another country is on another page. If that makes sense. Okay, Trump. This is like another bone of contention for Trump. He's going to have to face some issues. There's some vulnerability, but he's going to have to face some issues. He's going to have to get the people that are around him to get ready for battle, you know, because they're kind of lazily, you know, sitting behind him. And Trump is the only one standing up like, come on, let's do it. And the people in the back are kind of scheming. You know, there's other people that aren't paying attention. The people that are with him are like just, you know, not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. Let's see. What does Putin want from Trump? Putin wants a victory. Putin wants to win. Putin wants a victory. That's what he wants for Trump. He wants to get his way. Don't ask me what that means. Trump wants to hold on to, it has to do with money again, too. So Trump, I don't know if this treaty involves any money. If you guys know anything, do we give them money or, I don't know. But Trump is all about trying to hold, remember I said that Trump's not going to want to give money to other countries. He's going to try to hold back because we're in financial, like, distraught. You know, this country is financially, like, bad. We're like going into a big depression, recession, whatever. He's trying to hold as much money as possible. So whatever it is, he's trying to hoard some things together. So he wants money, physical. He doesn't want to give them more things. He doesn't want to give them more. I don't know if we not only give them money or things or places or people or whatever we give to Russia in this whole treaty. Trump doesn't want to. He wants to hold it. Let's see. The Star. There's going to be some things brought to light. There's going to be some things brought to life, like in the light, illumination. And it's going to be painful. It's going to be painful. I think that the relationship is between Russia and the United States is going to get a little, you know, tricky. I think it's going to get a little tricky. Okay, let's see about Trump. Look at the Three of Wands. They're coming together with the plan to go forward. So remember how I said earlier there's 3 countries or 3 things together? I'm seeing that again here. So Trump is I don't know if it's other countries that they're getting together for a plan in regards to Russia. And there's going to be some things that are brought out. There's going to be some, I don't think whatever is going to happen is going to be good for Russia. And I think some people that are in that treaty or other countries are going to kind of come with America or with Trump and kind of work actively to do something against Russia. I'm not talking about military, maybe sanctions, stuff like that. They're going to kind of go after Russia, but I think Russia has somebody in their pocket. Is it China? Is it Japan? I don't really know. But Russia and another country, another big country, and the other countries are going to kind of come after them. Let's see. The Dark Priestess. So there's a lot of shadow movements going on, a lot of inner reflections, a lot of shadow things coming out. So there's a lot of plans. 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands is like a lot of burden, So a lot of dark things, a lot of inner, you know, this is like an inner reflection. I don't look at it as like bad or good because I don't look at dark and light like that because, you know, personally, I think dark is light and light is dark. So I look at it like that. So I think there's going to be some real deep introspection in regards to Trump, this side looking at the situation with Russia, really going deep into introspection. This was a big burden for both of us, and for Russia and for United States. This is a big burden, and I don't think, and it's not like people are saying like Trump's in his pocket. I don't think our relationship with Russia is that great. I really don't think our relationship was that great. And I think that both sides really want to alleviate this kind of stress, this burden. But I think that there's going to be some trying times ahead, with Russia. There's going to be some trying times ahead, and this is going forward. So the King of Pentacles also reminds me of Trump going forward. And it also could be, Russia, but I think more of Russia. I think Putin's more of a King of Wands, where Trump is more of the King of Pentacles. So I think that there's going to be some action in regards to, going forth on the plan. There's going to be some type of, Trump is going to use a situation where we're either going to have to help or bail out a vulnerable country or whatever, and he's going to use that as a deterrent. I just want it in November. So this is it going forward. So I think that they're going to use some type of country that's vulnerable, and they're going to go forward with a plan with that country. Is there anything going on with Trump and Putin in November? Look at Dark Magician, so there's a lot of dark things coming in. So I don't think dark is, I think dark is light, light is dark. But the Dark Magician is like a hidden hand. So there's someone out there that's kind of, in the dark, it's not showing their face, that is manipulating things in regards to the United States and Trump. So there's a dark, someone that we don't know. Or someone that's remaining hidden. We could know them, but, they're remaining hidden. And they're actually working things, for us to kind of not be in a good place. Yeah. Also is that, remember I always say that Trump feels like we give more than what we get back. So we give more than what we give back. And this Dark Magician, who I think is someone who's manipulator, a master manipulator, that, he's keeping his affiliation kind of secret. He might be saying that, oh, I'm with you, Trump, and he's really for the globalist or for another country, or this could be someone that's working with Russia, that Russia thinks they're for them, but really, they're not. They have their hidden hands. But I see that whatever it was for us to give more, and than what we get back in return. This also could be the Federal Reserve, the banksters, the banks, that they made it so that we give more than what we get back in return. It could be the banksters. And it's all about, trying to, so I think to make things more evenly. I think it's going to make things more evenly. The Queen is all about implementing in regards to structure, family, home, stuff like that. It also could be a woman of like another country that kind of comes in. Yeah, a woman of another country that kind of comes in to, I don't know what side, or she's going to come in regards to either for Russia or for, America. Someone, and they're going to be more active. They're going to, go forth with a plan of action. So this woman could be someone that's in power. A woman that's in power, over